It's confirmed. We finally have clarity on Chris Drury's vision for this year's New York Rangers team, as multiple surprise performances and new roster moves have left Rangers fans shocked as the season is quickly approaching, and it seems like Peter Laviolette may have been dropping us Easter eggs the entire time this preseason. We're going to break it all down, but before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 70% of you who watch our videos are not actually subscribed to the channel, so if you want to do yourself a favor, it's free. Hit that subscribe button so you get to stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. And obviously the season starts this week. It's very exciting. The preseason has come and gone. It's wrapped up, and we finally have some clarity on Chris Drury and Peter Laviolette's plan for the New York Rangers this season. And personally, it's pretty exciting, and we're going to get into it. But there are some shocking roster moves we'll get to that I don't think most fans saw coming. At least I didn't. And that, of course, we'll start with the New York Rangers trimmed their roster again, and that was to assign Brennan Othmann officially to the Hartford Wolfpack. And now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I'm a big believer in Brennan Othmann, and I thought he was going to make the New York Rangers this year out of camp. I thought that he looked like he was an NHL regular at this point, and he may one day be, right? Like, I don't think it's that far away still for this player, but it seems as if some younger players, and we'll get to that, have kind of passed him on the depth chart thus far, or at least surprising more with their performances, at least in Peter Laviolette's eyes so far this preseason heading into the season. But again, trimming the roster a little bit. And of course, Mackley got placed on waivers as well. There's a lot of moves, and we're going to get into most of them. So from Jim as well, obviously they're trimming the roster. Brett Berard staying with the team. Very interesting. And again, I don't think this is more so about the players who've been cut and are heading to the AHL. This is more interesting to me, at least, about the players that are staying on the team. This says more about the players who've made the team, quote unquote, at this point in time, because obviously I thought Othmann put in great work. Not with the team. He's going to spend some time with the Wolfpack. I think, injuries happen. We're going to see him at some point this season. And there was a lot of really good performances, I thought, this year in the preseason, but Othmann not good enough. But we'll wrap that up there. But Brett Berard, pretty strong preseason, good showing. He's so far made the team per se, right? He's still sticking around. Victor Mancini, who's looked fantastic this preseason, we broke that down in previous videos as well. He's sticking with the team. And Matthew Robertson, at the time of this quote, we will get to Matthew Robertson in a minute, thought it was pretty interesting. And obviously Jim goes on to say for now. So we'll get to Matthew Robertson in a minute. But I thought Brett Berard and Victor Mancini making the team, or seemingly making the team, because of course there are some injuries as well. I thought that was very interesting. We'll get into some line combinations or possible ones at least as well. Othmann also played all 6 preseason games, but he was always a long shot to make the team. That, of course, is from Colin. A lot of people, I've been reading the comments, think that that is the case as well, right? I've seen it all online. Brendan Othmann, to a lot of people, was always a long shot to make the team. And he played in every single preseason game and never took his game to the next level, per se. He never really broke out and gave Laviolette and Drury a reason to say, this guy has to make the team, right? He never really took a hold of that opportunity like a guy like Mancini did. But of course, Mancini, he plays defense. It's a different position. Of course, I know that. But a guy like Adam Edstrom did take that opportunity, right? So he looks like he's going to make the team here because of that. So of course, Othmann played in all the games, but didn't take it to the next level, at least in my eyes. But I'm still a big believer in him. And I think, we will see him in the NHL for sure. And I think one day he will be an NHL regular. Now, this is the full lineup this is the full New York Rangers lineup for Molly Walker in practice. Obviously, first line, it's not going to change. We're heading into the season with that line. We know this. Now, Panarin is still hurt. Seems like it's a very minor injury, and he will be back shortly, right? Like, we know that he may miss the start of the season. It doesn't seem that way. They don't seem like they're panicked either, which is why Jim was using for now, because Berard for now is taking part in practice and kind of warming up just in case he has to play the season opener, but he might not have to. Panarin might be back and maybe Berard gets reassigned, right? But let's just imagine Panarin is in that spot, because when he comes back and he's healthy, which is going to happen very shortly, he'll be in that spot. We know that line is fantastic. That might even be their first line this year if you really want to play it that way. But anyway, you move on to the third. Cooley, I thought, has played fantastic. He's definitely earned a spot. That line, you know what? A lot of people make an argument for Kakko. Maybe they should have moved off of him. I think that line is very interesting. I'm excited to see what that line does and the opportunities they create for themselves. And then on the fourth line, I think that if they rock Edstrom, Carrick, and Rempe, that is a disastrous fourth line for other teams to play against. I'm really rooting for that fourth line personally. I know a lot of people want to see other people in the lineup. This is what I've been saying on the channel. I've been reading the comments as well. And I know a lot of people want to see some certain, different people in the lineup. Maybe some people who've already been, or players, I should say, assigned to Hartford. But Edstrom, Carrick, Rempe, that's fun. That's just fun to watch. But anyway, we'll move on to the defense pairings as well. Fox and Miller. It sounds like, right now, at least with Lindgren out, because Lindgren to me is Robin to Adam Fox's Batman, right? I feel like when he comes back from injury, they're going to play together again. I feel like they have something going on there. Unless, Miller and Fox mesh better than that, in, maybe the first couple games here until Lindgren comes back, but we're going to have to see about that. But they seem to like this pairing. They're going to rock with that. Jones-Mancini is fun because at one point it was Trouba. Jones-Mancini is a fun pairing, youthful, and I think it's just going to be all offense with that pairing, which is a lot of fun. And not to say they're going to, lack defense or sacrifice it or anything, but I think that'd be a fun pairing. And then Schneider, Trouba, very interesting obviously with all the injuries, they don't have, right shots on the right side, left shots on the left side. They don't have enough right now in the lineup. But Schneider, Trouba, I think that's very interesting. I think Schneider's very, he's young, but he's a calming presence on the blue line. I do like this player a lot. And obviously, Trouba can kind of slot in anywhere in your lineup right now, and I think the lineup will look a little bit different when everyone's recovered from injury trouble as well. Now, the one thing you might notice here is Robertson is on a fourth pairing, right? And he was still with the team as we talked about earlier in the video. But just recently, just now, he was sent down or he was placed on waivers, obviously, to be sent down. So he has to clear waivers. Hopefully he does. Obviously, Rangers fans are hoping that. That sounds like it's the plan. Obviously, the Rangers, if they thought he would be claimed or something, they wouldn't do that. Obviously, a tough decision. He was very close to making the team. I think he's right there as well. I think he's NHL ready. But Mancini had a great showing and has earned his spot on the team this season. So Robertson has been placed on waivers, obviously. Very interesting. We're going to have to keep an eye on that over the next day because, of course, a lot had to get done before the 5 p.m. deadline on Monday. And the Rangers, through this preseason are trying a lot of different things too. There's a little bit of a change to the power play. There's a little bit of change to the penalty kill. They're changing things. They want to get more physical. And I think, a lot of Rangers fans can get on board with that because that was something they're lacking when they needed it the most in the Eastern Conference Final last year. So it looks like from Colin as well, Cooley and Carrick is a thing on the PK. They're trying a bunch of different pairings and stuff like that. And I think that's fun, especially to start the year because we know this is going to be a good team who's going to go on another run, right? So, figure it out now and really get things rocking by mid-season, end of season. I think that's awesome. And of course, we are 1 week away-ish, obviously a little bit less now, from the home opener and New York Rangers hockey returning, and it's going to be very exciting. So let me know in the comments what you think of the lineup. Let me know what you would do with the lineup because obviously we know what it's looking like. It's getting very close to what it's going to look like on opening night, and obviously will change as guys get back from injury, and it's going to be a very fun start to the season with a couple young guys looking to make a good first impression. But let me know what you think of that in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.